Lies of P, the disappointment I wanted to like. My first impressions of the game, it's dark, it's moody. I'm excited to play it because it reminds me so much of Bloodborne and Sekiro at the same time. Literally a world just like Bloodborne with like the architecture and the time period and the moods. And then especially during the end game where everything literally turns into an apocalypse like Bloodborne, literally almost beat for beat. Story of Liza P is full of mystery and it could be pretty predictable, but at the same time it's still an interesting ride on how you get to the answers to the questions that you have inside your head, like, oh, this is Liza P, so it's like Pinocchio. When does like his nose grow? What does lying do? Like literally when you load or whenever you die, it says lie or die. And it's like, okay, maybe the game is telling me I have to lie in order to succeed. But like throughout the story, being honest and lying, it's like a balance. It's not like just lie, everything's gonna be okay. You know, I've literally had moments where telling the truth was way better than lying. And then I just wanted to tell the truth because I feel like it was the right thing to do. Thinking if I tell the truth, something bad is gonna happen, but I'd rather tell the truth. But on the contrary, telling the truth, I'm assuming is way better than if I lie. For example, there's a character in the game, I'm not gonna spoil, there's a character in the game that's actually an imposter. The blacksmith in the game actually makes this person a pair of gloves. And whenever you give the pair of gloves to the imposter, they said, oh, these gloves are rubbish. They don't even fit. And I'm thinking, these gloves don't fit. Like, she's a master blacksmith. Like, how would she mess that up, right? And I go back to the lady and she said, oh, did he like the gloves? And it says lie and say it's magnificent, or tell the truth and say he didn't like it. And a lot of people, they're probably thinking, oh, well, I don't want her feelings to get hurt, so I'm a lie. But I'm like, no, like he didn't like the gloves. I'm gonna try and figure out, what did you mess up? You're the master blacksmith. No, he didn't like the gloves. And she says, wait, what? He didn't like the gloves. They should have been perfect. It doesn't make any sense. He's missing a finger, so that's why like it should fit, right? So like the original person she's thinking of lost his finger when he saved her. But this person is saying, oh, it doesn't fit, blah, blah, blah. So obviously he's an imposter. And if I lied and said that he enjoyed the gloves, I would never figure that out. I would never put two and two together if you tried to, save somebody's feelings. So I think stuff like that is definitely very interesting and very fun. These side plots on top of the main plot are like the most enjoyable parts of this game. I would say atmosphere wise, it nails it. Graphics wise, it's okay, but the atmosphere is really, really enjoyable. You start off, everybody's dead, and the puppets are going mad, right? Builds this whole vibe of robotics. The world we live in now is it's not full of AI, but AI is constantly developing. Day to day, you're gonna have robots operating, whether it's like public service or, any type of sector in life, there's gonna be like a robot or an AI, right? So it's very interesting to have this world where the puppets slash robots, have changed and they're murdering humans in the streets and they're talking about am I alive, am I free, this and that, the king of puppets, who's controlling the strings. And even in the beginning of the game they tell you like the laws of puppets. It reminds me like the law of robotics, like all robots must listen to humans.
First law: all puppets must obey their creator's commands. Second law: a puppet may not harm humans. Third law: a puppet protects and serves humans and the city of Krat.
I think it's iRobot with Will Smith. So it gives off those type of vibes and I really do enjoy it. They do a lot with that premise of, the puppets, the ergo, the stuff that, brings them sentience. At first it wasn't sentience. It was just, hey, this is how the puppets move. We use ergo. But it's like, oh, ergos were the souls of people. And now the souls are in the puppets and now they're coming to life. And it's like fighting against like the laws of the puppets of do not hurt humans. Well, what happens whenever the ergo that's inside of this puppet was formerly a murderer, right? Like, how does that work? Some puppets come to life and others just listen. But graphics wise, it looks fine. There's a lot of texture pop in. I will say that, like just running from room to room, you can see like the textures just pop in, like it's loading in that room. The gameplay itself, if I say like just the gameplay, swinging a weapon, stuff like that, if we're talking about Souls, because it's a Souls inspired game, it is totally fine. The rolling is okay. The guard is okay. The parry is one of the biggest issues I've had with the game because it's not a frame one parry. Like in Dark Souls with the shield, it's a frame one parry. In Sekiro, it's a frame one parry. In this game, it doesn't feel frame one at all. I ended up switching to the shield to start parrying, which is more of a delay. I believe that one's like 3 to 5 frames. And I feel like the parry in this game is like 2 to 5. So it doesn't feel frame one perfect at all. I feel like maybe it is like in the code, but there is a delay. When I press L1, I don't think it's a skill issue. I honestly don't. I don't think I'm the best Souls player, but I really don't think there's a skill issue. When I press L1, it like Pinocchio raises his arms. So there's like some lag in between him raising his arms and the actual parry frame coming out. I think there is a delay. It has to be, because so many times I thought I parried and I didn't. And sometimes I think I didn't parry and I did. I feel like this thing is just like random, right? Which leads into like why I ended up not liking the game, but I'll save that for later. Just Souls, besides the parry, everything else is okay. Now, where it breaks apart from Souls, I think is really interesting. There's a lot of quality of life improvements in Lies of P that I think Dark Souls and Sekiro or whatever could definitely use. For a long time, whenever you played a Souls game, if you died in the boss room to get your souls, you run into there, grab your souls, and try and teleport out. In this game, if you die in the boss room, all of your souls are right outside the boss room. So you can grab them, go farm some more or whatever. Like simple stuff like that, I really, really love. It makes it so much easier. And it's just tiny stuff like that that I really enjoyed. Now, this is one thing that I honestly really hated about the game, and it's why I decided to put the game down, is the boss design. The boss designs are not fun. I honestly, when I fight a boss, I don't feel like I really win through a means of my own. I feel like I am put down a certain path, and the only way to beat this boss is if I play it your way. I think the developers realize that because they give you tools in the game to force you to play in that play style. I think this is a very parry heavy game, even more parry heavy than Sekiro. The bosses in Sekiro, they have 2 health bars. You can keep attacking them, lowering their posture, then do a vicious attack on them to take out that 1 life bar. That is very, very, very risky because, of course, when you're attacking, you're in their attack range, they're going to attack back, but you parry them, which would also lower their posture. So you're attacking, they attack back. If you're parrying, their posture breaks way faster. Then the second way you beat them, which is the way I prefer, go in, hit them a couple times, get out. Everybody plays these games differently. But if you try and do the second one in Lies of P, I feel like it just does not work. So whenever I'm attacking an enemy, and I break their posture, I can do a vicious attack in Lies of P. The thing is, they don't instantly die. So whenever these bosses have multiple phases and I'm not good at parrying, I'm almost screwed. I have to constantly rinse and repeat trying to fight this boss. And they tried to make it easier by giving you a grind gear. So like there's durability in your weapons. If you use this certain gear, you will automatically perfect parry every single attack that is parryable for like 10 seconds, right? It's not a lot of time, especially in like these long ass fights. 10 seconds isn't really helpful at all. But literally that 10 seconds of me perfect parrying and then lowering their posture is way more effective than if I was to hit them, try and get away, and then hit them some more. Which is, I think is a little messed up. Like in Dark Souls, they'll swing 1 time and they'll delay. If you're far away, they're not gonna swing twice. That gives you the ability to run up there and counter them. They swing, you back away, you see they're slowing down, and you start hitting them before they change up their attack pattern. In Lies of P, they'll charge up, you back away, and you see that they slow down. If you run forward to counter, they will automatically do the second attack and hit you. Unless you go up there and try and parry it. But like I said, the parry is not like a 1 frame. Like there's a delay in this parry. You can't constantly attack the boss unless you're able to parry in this game. Other people might say like get good, skill issue, but the thing is this is an RPG. I should be able to play it the way I want to play it. I shouldn't be dictated to play the game a specific type of way. What I said about the classic stats is apparently BS, because whenever I leveled up throughout the game, I had a balanced build, 25 HP, 30 damage, 20 and everything else, right? I beat the entire game and get to the final boss. And throughout the entire game, I've had the same issue where I would die in 2 to 3 hits. 2 to 3 hits has always been my issue. And that's when I stopped leveling up health. I said, man, fuck it. We're going to have 23 health and we're gonna just max out damage and try and beat the boss as fast as we can and just keep healing up. That's why I have 10 health items. I get to use it 10 times. Like, screw it. That's all I can do. The final boss is just beating my ass, and I'm so tired of this game. I said, screw it. I respec. By the way, respec is a BS because you can't even just like respec if you want to. You gotta go through halfway the game to unlock the ability to respec. Several times I have built a weapon or built a play style and I find something different and it's like, well, fuck, I put my stats into this shit. Now I'm forced to use it because if I use this other thing, I'm just gonna be weaker because I cannot respec whenever I want to. Like in every other Souls game, all you have to do was talk to somebody or you had to find a specific item like in Dark Souls 2, which was pretty prevalent through the whole game. If you wanted to respec, you could respec at any time. So for me to go through halfway the game in a playstyle I don't enjoy and try and compensate by leveling up a specific attribute, and then I can finally respec after beating halfway through the game, a lot of people are gonna put the game down before they even get the chance to reset because they're gonna think, wow, I really can't reset, I'm stuck doing this, or they'll look it up, oh, it's halfway through the game, man, I'm not really having fun, and then they put the game down. Anyways, I get to the final boss. I'm hitting my head against the wall, and I said, screw it. I reset my character. My health went from 25 down to 11, the default base health. My health bar went from medium to small, and I put all of my points into damage. Why, when I went back to the final boss, I'm still dying in 2 to 3 hits instead of 1 hit? You know why? Because they're scaling. They're scaling into the game to the point where it doesn't matter what you do, the boss is gonna scale. So I put all my points in the fucking damage. I go back to the beginning area of the game to farm XP. Why, when I have 68 damage, I went from 27 damage to 68, am I still fighting beginner enemies and killing them in 3 hits instead of 1? How come when I get blown up by an enemy and I had 25 health, my health bar went to 1 shot, but I lived, and I have 11 health now and I still go down to 1 shot instead of instantly dying? Because there is scaling in the game. But it's scaled to the point where it doesn't matter what you do. It feels like it doesn't matter. I max out my damage, I do not kill you faster. I boost up my health, I still die in 3 hits instead of 1 or 2. This is not a real RPG. What's the point of me putting stats in my shit? I can't even freely customize Pinocchio to be however I want him to be or however I want to look. This is the same issue I have with Sekiro. You can't really change how you play. You're forced to use the katana in Sekiro. You can change your weapons here in Lies of P, which is cool as shit, but what's the point whenever the damage is gonna scale regardless? The damage is gonna scale, the HP is gonna scale. None of this shit matters. And that's why I had an issue with Lies of P. All the bosses were 2-3 shotting me. That's totally fine. But whenever you're like, it's basically like Lies of P is a lie in itself because there really is no customization when it comes down to like your character. Sure, you can give them a different weapon. Sure, you can put on these armor pieces, but you're gonna be heavy as shit. Oh, cool, I get a ring, I can lower my weight. Well, okay, well, what if I level up my stats so I can have more weight? Oh, it doesn't matter because the shit scales? Why am I wasting my time? This literally is a get good situation with the final boss, and I feel like it shouldn't be. It should be good, get good in like the way you want to play, not get good in a specific play style, because that literally narrows down how many people can actually play and enjoy Lies of P. A lot of people picked up the game, they're gonna be like, yeah, this is cool, and then they're gonna say, man, this is some bullshit, and they're not gonna play it. You know what happens then? More people are not gonna want to play the game. You know what happens then? You don't get sequels. You're not gonna get a Lies of P2. And if you do, good shit. Maybe they'll fix it by Lies of P2, or maybe they'll update it and change some shit. Hopefully, because more people should play the game. Because like I said, there's more to game than gameplay. The story was good. The world building, good. Characters, good. I enjoyed all of that. That was the only thing getting me through this game. But when it came down to the gameplay and the fake ass RPG elements, I just could not do it. Every time I went through a boss, I did not feel happy. I didn't feel like, yeah, I did it. I felt like finally that fucker's done. Now I can enjoy more of the story or more of the world, more of the characters. What's the side quest, right? And this is just looking at it from a work perspective. Of course, like my perspective is skewed for work. I beat the game so I can upload it to YouTube, right? But other people they're not even gonna get that far. They're not gonna get to the final boss. They're gonna put the game down. They're gonna quit the game. But at that point, they already spent the money, so haha, I guess it doesn't fucking matter. But if other people say they don't enjoy the game, and other people like me say, hey, there's issues with this game and it doesn't get fixed, and you listen to the only people that say get good, you're gonna have like a cult fan base of like 10 fucking people and 10 people buying a game does not get a sequel. It's just a waste of money. It's a waste of funds. Liza P do better. I think the story is great. I think the characters are great. The mood's great. Whoever was working on the visual design and the artists, they did a fucking amazing job. But whoever decided that the RPG elements just scale everything so it doesn't really matter, that person needs to like be reevaluated because ain't no way in hell I'm gonna waste any more time playing this game. 6 out of 10. Very disappointing. I'll see you guys on the next one.